You are unmuted. Welcome back.
I
We
know.
are continuing on with our D&D game. And I gotta say, I'm always very surprised at the turns that happen in this game. I don't know that I expected an arm wrestling competition, but
At this point, come on.
where we
I
are
can
now,
honestly say I never thought about what Ghost and Pyre's meeting was going to be like, and this is great.
I didn't. I had empty no thoughts this all the time.
So you get into the teleportation circle, you get back to the stone tooth. Now, as you are coming from the room with the circle and towards like the forge proper, Sven will approach Calder and will say, Calder, we're gonna have a quick meeting with Kretha about this place, and you would be your counsel would be very beneficial to her. Barnabas is already in the room with her.
The regent wants her advisor.
Yes, that's exactly right. And if you would please join me for a short time.
Hi, Sven. How are you? I've brought extraordinarily powerful allies to assist us.
Hi, Calder. I'm not currently being threatened by somebody who's much more powerful than me, so I'm doing pretty okay. How are you?
I'm doing great. I believe you remember Charlotte.
Charlotte, you look different and good, and I feel like maybe more dragony. Is that dragon skin?
It is. And then Charlotte says in perfect, eloquent Dwarven, it is a delight to be in this hall in your presence once again. And gives a very proper, noble curtsy.
I see that perhaps you and I should compare notes at some point in the near future. It's very good to see you again, Charlotte.
And this gigantic gentleman is, what was his name?
Says it in perfect Draconic.
Pyre.
Or Pyre.
What, like long Draconic name, Pyre.
Sven will...
Pyre, zero judgment, zero anything, just looks down at Sven and goes, hello.
Sven will step forward, he will bow, and in accentless perfect Draconic, repeat your name and welcome you to these hallowed halls.
Just goes, he just sort of thinks, respect.
Um,
and then in clipped, partially accented Dwarven will report. It is a pleasure. It is. I am honored to be greeted in these hallowed halls.
That word wasn't halls. It was actually boots. There's a bit of a guttural in there. There's a in that. So if you just like a little bit.
My throat is 8 inches longer than yours.
Charlotte turns to Pyre and says, "You will have to excuse Sven. He's not always polite."
No, it's fine. It is a simple aspect that does not translate physically to my time.
I always act entirely within the strictures of dwarven protocol.
That's fine. And he is correct in correcting someone's pronunciation. It's entirely
real quick. This entire conversation is in Dwarven, right?
Yes.
Yes, absolutely.
Charlotte just starts laughing. It was
Calder is like, oh God, not again.
Ghost has taken like a full step to the side and is playing jacks on the floor at this point.
With Calder.
Yes, with Calder.
Well, no,
I'm sure if you need to borrow Calder, Nomani will show us around, right? Nomani says in common.
Oh, you're done. Okay.
What? What am I doing? I'm Nomani. I am the ghost. Yes. How can I help you?
Nomani, if you could show them, if you can show Charlotte and Pyre
to the kitchens.
Sure, why not?
We'll start there.
I certainly hope they've been cleaned up since I was last here.
And with that, I will pass the hat of playing multiple people at once to the other players.
Yes. So Sven will take Calder to a side room where there will be a scene that we will do as a flashback later once Jen is back with us. But everyone else... So there is in the Forge of Fury, and I'm not going to pull up the map, but there was a space with a large communal like table, yeah, and some chairs have been set up. So they're going to take you behind the throne room to this conference room, basically. And
After
already
we get a bite to eat.
after you get some food, that's true. So you're gonna grab some food.
I'm imagining like Pyre just like grabbed an entire like ham shank from like the spit and doesn't even realize it's for multiple people.
Ghost, who has no concept of personal space, will also be eating from this same ham shank because they're brothers, which means that they can share.
As
And
a person with many brothers that he also fights with, he accepts this with no comment.
And also because they are brothers, I do not need to ask.
Exactly.
So it is.
Like
It works.
Pyre and Nelmani get along shockingly well.
Yeah. It's like no, we actually have the same culture.
More or less.
It's like this is getting a little cold. One moment. There we go.
So
But yes, we
possibly
do make
with
our way
food
to
in
the meeting
tow,
hall.
like I imagine you probably take some of like I'm imagining a giant like axe beak drumstick that
we
you're
make
I imagine like at
charcuterie
least
you
one
take
dwarf
into
tries
the
to
meeting.
Stop us and then like a dwarf tries to stop us, and as he is yelling at them in Dwarven, like Pyre just reaches over, grabs him by the shoulder, lifts him, pulls him out of the way, sets him down very cautiously, like pats him on the shoulder gently, keeps going.
I'm getting very strong Andre the Giant vibes here. Like Andre was an amazing, polite human being, but definitely was not shy about moving someone out of the way if they had to be out of the way.
I feel like that guy who gets moved out of the way, like after Pyre moves on, Ghost is going to be like, and that's 2 gold because you know that we're not supposed to do this anymore. You said you wasn't going to do this, and then you did it again, so pay up. Ghost is just going to casually hustle everybody out of their money.
And as you're heading back towards the conference room, a very tall guardsman will be there standing before the door behind the throne room to the conference room, and Kevin Bonewolf will step forward, and he will say, "Well, we have some new folks here, it seems. You
Kevin,
and
is that you?
Charlotte.
We'll part so that Charlotte can exist.
It has been far too. Wow, that dress is incredible.
Thank you. You sound well.
Well enough, yes. I've been through some changes since the last time we talked, but I think you probably have too. I see that you are traveling in the company of a red dragon. Is that a thing that we're accepting here now? Hey, I'm just saying. We had some gray dwarves here and we were cool with that, and we had some goblins here, we were cool with that. So I'm cool with this if you're cool with it. But like, Dragonborn, you said.
Dragonborn.
Ah,
Kevin.
I'm of the Dragonborn tribes of the Icewind Dale.
Also, Kevin, just a minor note, you're not being very cool about it.
Kevin,
To work on that.
from behind, Nomani goes, "Look, we only have to collect 2 more. 1 more."
I think we should just go into the meeting room and wait for everyone to show up. Is that all right with you, Kevin?
he will meekly stand aside until Pyre goes past him, and he'll look up a little bit, because Kevin's also pretty tall. We'll look up a little bit at Pyre and go, "You're big. We should arm wrestle sometime."
You never arm wrestle me.
Pyre will nod and go, "Perhaps another time. I have already arm wrestled a good chunk today, but yes, more. I will be happy to do so, small human."
Now, to be clear, we've got a lot of characters in on this conference room, right? Victoire is going to be there.
Mm-hmm.
I believe that. So we got Pyre, we've got Charlotte. Who else is in this room?
I think Echo will make his way to the room too. He will probably come in a bit, almost late, and but he will scamper in at the last minute.
I
Echo.
feel like we would.
Go ahead.
I feel like we would also probably have at least one of the wolf boys.
Oh
We'll-
yeah.
We'll
And
go
what
ahead
about
and
Some of the bone wolves.
we'll go ahead and have
Or-
Kevin. We'll have Kevin come into the room with you.
Okay.
And
Calder will be joining the meeting later.
Yeah.
there is so this room. The last time some of you were in it, this room was kind of a mess, and there may or may not have been somebody hiding beneath the table, but now it's well furnished. There are torches on the walls. It's warm. It's nice. It's inviting. Like, it feels like a dwarven citadel now, rather than an ancient ruin. And there's already like some canteens of water and some canteens of ale and some sort of cold cuts laid out on the table and some plates. They don't have like servants in there to serve you because, dwarves don't necessarily always stand on ceremony. And at this point, we are in a space where the outside world is not supposed to intrude. Yeah, at least until Calder comes back. So now that everyone is sort of gathered in the same place, who kicks off the conversation?
I think when Echo comes in, like almost the very last person into the door.
Pyro, upon seeing the food, goes, food! I am excellent. I am hungry.
Ghost will put down the second.
We'll take another bite out of the massive shake of food.
Yeah. Ghost will put down the second charcuterie board that he brought in.
Yeah. So like as people are like, I assume Barnabas and Sven and Calder all show up too.
They are not here yet. No, we're gonna get this party started, and they will show up in a little bit.
All right, but is Victoire in the room at the moment? You said
Victoire is in the room. Victoire is at the head of the table, well, at one of the ends of the table, at the head of the table until Barnabas shows up and takes the other side, and that becomes the head of the table. She is very tall, very brick house type of a person, and she is normally relatively like tanned in coloring, fucking pale and sweating and just like freaking the fuck out right now. And she's just like you can for the majority of the characters can literally see her counting backwards from 10, and then she's like, I'm good, and then has to start over again. And it takes a bit for her to finally put her hands on the table, and she'll go, that happened, and then she's just gonna sit down.
Charlotte will walk over to the spot right next to Victoire and sit down.
I have a question. What exactly happened?
Maybe we could just start with introductions.
Oh, yes, that thing.
Sure.
I'm Charlotte de Corbel. It's nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, Lady de Corbel. Lady Gaga. Sorry, how do I?
Captain, try.
Rah, rah,
No.
Enjoy that earworm.
I am Victoire Marchand. And I am the Forge.
You're a forger. You're a blacksmith, a smith of some sort.
I am. Vic has like fully turned and now is like, oh, like Charlotte is the only person in the room. It's the only way I can handle this right now.
Because the other two are just chowing down at the other end of the table.
Other people and the like anybody else there is just she's like, I can't right now. I am an inventor and a monster hunter.
Both very useful things right now. I'm glad you're here.
Thank you.
Is this lovely being, and she gestures to like the metal dog who's being such a good boy. Do they belong to you?
This yes. This is Lou. I made him. He is one of my best friends. I also and she's gonna like reach into a pocket and pull out the smallest fucking frog in the world. We're talking like this big. This big. He's a little one.
Pirate's suddenly very interested in the frog.
The frog also has like a little metal suit on with little jetpacks. They do work. He can fly around if he wants to. And this is Beetle. I made him out of a gem. No, this is actually Beetle. I also have, and then she pulls another horrible monster out of her pocket.
Little Ben.
Little Ben out. Little Ben is a horrible clockwork angel thing, automaton.
I think you mean a precious clockwork angel automaton.
Precious, horrible little.
It's my baby. And this is little Ben. These are my my familiar and my homunculus and my dog.
I also have a familiar when he's not causing mischief. Swoops, get out of that soup bowl. It's just fully in a soup bowl on the table.
It's your own fault. You got him addicted to the sensation when he was Scoots.
Yeah.
He so Swoops like sticks his head out and telepathically goes, "Me flavored water, 25 copper." Just to you, because you're the only that knows what he's saying.
Yes. And I will bamf him out of existence and then rebamf him hanging from my finger. This is Swoops. He is my familiar, and he might completely ignore personal boundaries. Just a heads up.
Oh, okay. Oh, cool. The beetle is about the same size as Swoops's body, so comparable.
Excuse me. Excuse me. Lady Victoire, your familiar, the small one.
Yes, beetle.
Is it a creature that appears in nature?
Yes, it is a frog.
May I examine it?
I'm not looking. Do you want it? Yeah, okay. And I'm just gonna throw the frog at him.
Doesn't even move to catch it, just like hits banks off his neck and hits the table.
No, so Beetle like launches and then the jetpack's power, and he flies over and just kind of hovers there.
Fire gets really, really close, really examines it and goes, "I see. Thank you, little friend."
It does look like the tiniest frog, but in a fucking Iron Man suit.
Pyre will nod, and then, "Thank you. That is all I require."
And then Beetle's going to hit you with his tongue.
Pyre, in response, will turn into a horrible dragon version of the same frog.
Right, I
And just
forgot
be on-
that you were a WoW
And-
druid.
and just hops onto the table and
Are you also small or big?
I am the size of whatever the creature is.
So little.
So tiny.
He is tiny, but he is also covered in horrifying dragon scales that give him a D4 unarmed damage.
Beetle will sit on top of you.
And at that point,
Pyre has made a new friend.
the front door will open, and like someone will try to come in, and you'll hear a feminine voice go, "Stinky, no!" And a large frog will enter the room first, like before anybody else comes in, like noses its way through, just like you, except about 100 times bigger at this point.
A beast of the land, not a real creature.
Comes in and looks around and is followed by Kretha, the sort of long blonde-haired goblin, King Barnabas, the dwarf, his brother Sven, the divination wizard, and of course Calder Creed, resident tiefling and good influence. Will enter
Charlotte
the room.
will rise. Charlotte will rise as they enter.
My title is Seneschal.
Yeah, I feel like Vic would rise at that point too.
Kretha will look around and say, "This
Pyre
is
is already risen on the table, but he's a frog. So
this is not necessary, friends. You know you do not have to stand for me." I'm playing Kretha, by the way. Jen, I'm so sorry if I fuck up the voice. This is not necessary, my friends. Please be seated.
Pyre will sit down. It's a difference of about a half inch.
Charlotte will remain standing.
There are many decisions that have been made tonight, and many decisions that will be made tonight. But for right now, I just wish to be with my friends and with... And she looks up at Pyre, like up and up at Pyre.
Pyre's a tiny frog on the table.
Oh, that's right. Pyre's a tiny frog at the table. So instead, she will look at the two tiny frogs on the table and say, potentially with some new
one
friends
has
as
power
well.
Armor. The other is a horrible draconic monstrosity.
Potentially some new
One
friends
she
as well.
recognizes.
And she will mostly just kind of sit in the background because Jen's not here, and kind of absorb what's happening.
Somehow we can imagine that Kretha is extremely shy, especially in the royal office, and lets other people do that sort of talking for them because we know Jen.
Your Majesty.
Jen, love you so much.
Charlotte will, after Kretha kind of goes to the back of the room, will say, Your Majesty, it is an honor to be back in your halls.
Charlotte, it is very good to see you again. I like
Will
your
you
dress.
permit me to... Thank you. Will you permit me to make this room a bit more secure?
We're in the middle of a very highly magical mountain, but yes, if you want to do so, you can.
Thank you. By your leave. And she goes to a wall and starts walking around the room, and she is casting Private Sanctum. It is a abjuration spell, so her ward will flash up around her. So she makes an area within the range, 120 feet, secure. It can be as small as 5 feet, as large as 100 feet on a side, so she's making it the space of the room. Spell lasts for 24 hours. It takes 10 minutes to cast. Sound cannot pass through the barrier at the edge of the warded area. The barrier is warded and appears dark and foggy to prevent vision. including dark vision through it. Sensors created by divination spells can't appear inside the protected area or pass through the barrier at its perimeter. Creatures in the area can't be targeted by divination spells, and nothing can teleport into or out of the warded area.
That's fun.
So yeah, she just takes 10 minutes to walk around the room, and like she's kind of tracing wards onto the wall. And I think just as she's about to finish, Echo comes running in the door.
So right at
sorry.
the end, yeah,
Like-
as the spell is about to end, Echo manages to like
You can
crash
walk-
through.
You can just walk through the ward. It stops divination and like spying.
So Echo,
He walks-
the goblin that has an emerald gem sort of kind of lazily orbiting his head. And
He
everyone
comes
is
running
now
in.
in place. We're all in
Yeah.
the same room. And Barnabas will look around and he'll say, "So, to start with, all of you were incredible on the full moon. I didn't know what to
A
expect.
croaking noise occurs on the table.
I didn't know what to expect. None of us knew what to expect. But your creativity and your ability to respond to new situations was, without you, we would have fallen.
And
So
bonus, got to humiliate Nightscale.
just wanted to acknowledge that first before we talk about what we have to talk about, because we've got some difficult tidings and we've got some difficult things to talk about. But the full moon was a victory. We lost many, but it was a victory.
This full moon was a victory.
This full moon was a victory.
That is the crux of the issue. This isn't done. We
No.
are not.
If you will permit me, I could talk more in detail about what happened at the edge of the Silvery Marshes at Hyacinth's estate.
Please.
We were set upon. We were set upon by Ents that were infected with the blight, who animated trees and were-orcs and their wargs, and it was tough, but we repelled them.
Squee!
But then there was a storm out of nowhere, and Belak himself came crashing through the clouds on the back of an adult blue dragon's
Wait.
back.
Stop. So Barnabas, like, not only does he show an extreme reaction to the name Belak, like sweat starts beating down, and he says, I must have misheard you. It sounded very much to me like you said that Belak was back, and I'm positive." And he turns to Calder. "I'm positive that Belak was killed underneath the sun of the Citadel."
As the one who turned him into a goo, yes, I can verify that as well.
I spoke with him. He claimed the name Belek the Outcast, and he knew things about Clarion that Belak would know.
Given what we have seen, the proliferation of these infected and infested plant creatures, the corruption of the Ents that they report, as well as our own experience with those corpse blossoms, we are dealing with a being with that, and it is all the more regrettable because we have confirmed the existence of another Gulthias tree.
Is this the worst news I'm going to have tonight, or is there more?
Oh, there's plenty of bad news.
We were able to separate the dragon from Belak at one point, and speak to the dragon who was under the control of the blighted vines.
Mm.
He was not a willing follower of Belak, but controlled and eventually freed through death.
This bears out because we saw a similar strange attack occurring to Nightscale.
So I'm going to
Rather
do a
than
thing really quick. Just a quick convention for us to use going forward. When you are speaking, please go ahead and say "character says," so that we know who is playing whom at any given time.
Yeah.
Just
Alder
saying,
says.
because your voices are very different for your different characters, and those who have been with us for a long time will probably be able to figure it out. But let's go ahead and say.
I also I do have the benefit of visual aids, but that's all.
Yes, and so Charlotte asks, "What is Nightscale all right? What happened to Nightscale?"
We unfortunately had to perform the humiliation of saving Nightscale's life.
So he wasn't infected with vines then.
Correct. Nightscale is fine. He just hated being saved.
Ghost will be like, he was almost had a problem, but we fixed it.
I summoned a wall of acid around him.
It was pretty cool.
Pretty cool. A 20-foot tall pillar of
Enough
acid around a black.
Enough. Man. So Barnabas will sort of stand up, and he'll say, "All right. So things are clearly more complicated than we originally thought. You said there's a new Gulthias tree. Do we know where it is?"
Yes. We have an idea of its region, but not its exact location.
All right.
And Echo will speak up. And he'll say, I've actually hired some of the Dwergar to scout that out from the underground so that we get more lay of the land that way.
Right.
So we are getting more precise coordinates for that.
We don't have any reason to believe that the Dwergar would conceal this information from us. They wouldn't benefit from lying.
No.
And if their actions are malicious, the worst thing they could do is direct us to it. So
Vic will pipe up. It's like, on the other hand, at least the werewolf half of the problem is relatively handled, or can be handled. So
yes.
The werewolf aspect is, I have a feeling, is not done.
I mean,
we're still seeing. It was good to see that they hadn't infected their entire legion, but a percentage.
Speaking of which, we have been making some progress on the ones that were bit during the full moon.
Yeah, it's Echo will pipe up. That's what I just got back from doing, is helping get an accurate number and start curing some of the infections. So it's something we have to deal with, but I feel like we can deal with it.
It is reasonable to guess that if the first change does occur, we can, at that point, the curse will assert itself and we can no longer trust the ones that change without outside interference, such as Victor's therapy, for lack of a better word.
Therapy.
Wasn't there...
Underneath...
Echo will say, wasn't there a scouting party that found out a bit more about that?
Yes. My brother led an excursion to attempt to damage their patrol lines. They found some initial success by managing to sabotage their healing supplies as well as their food supplies.
No. I mean, on the full moon night, someone found something out about the Mark of Malar. It was in one of the reports. Echo turning to look at Kevin Bonewolf.
Oh, yes, of course.
Vic turning to look at Kevin Bonewolf.
And Bonewell has something positive. To contribute. I am beside myself with something so novel.
Kevin has lots of good things to contribute, Calder.
And I look forward to learning about the first of them.
So Kevin is going to look over at Calder and is going to again, look over at Kretha for a moment and look back at Calder and just flex his fists and then just relax and settle back into his guard's pose. He's going to let other people speak for him. So he looks like he's about to start some shit, but then he backs up. And he doesn't say anything.
Hey, Rob. Vic would probably have that information. M does not have that information.
I recall that Kevin Bonewolf and his ilk, they figured out the location of the Gulthias tree roughly, and also okay. I believe that they confirmed that. No, that was the different one.
The thing about the Mark of Malar was that the guy, the prisoner that they took, asked it to be removed. They tried, and it literally incinerated him, the werewolf that wanted to have the mark removed.
Right. So those that agreed to take on the mark and become a werewolf orc, were-orc wolf, you can't. That is an irreversible change, and that's a thing that Kevin Bonewolf figured out.
Okay. So then Vic would stand up again and pull a map out of a bag that she has, and she'll roll it across the table, and she'll go, while I was talking with Kevin, and she's very specifically not looking at people, she's looking at the map. We ended up meeting up with this lovely cartographer that he worked with before, who was able to kind of give us a general sketch of where we think that things are. That being said, they also talked about how those infected with the varying forms of lycanthropy, not just the wolven ones, but also the rats and the bears and such like that, they had taken a mark of Malar, the god of shape changers and generally being an asshole. And when normally a god mark can be removed, it's incredibly rude, and it's like a slap in the face of the god in the first place. But usually you don't become dust.
That does, Charlotte says, that does seem like an extreme magical reaction.
Yes. The I don't know if it's special or if it's tied into the how they got the lycanthropy, because in the myriad ways that you can become a lycanthrope, usually going the god touch route is not healthy.
Charlotte asks, do we have any prisoners? These were-orcs with the mark on them? Anyone we could examine?
Barnabas.
Yeah, we look at Barnabas.
I don't, but I do hear that that Marquis Hyacinth was able to trap a couple underneath a boulder, I think it was, some sort of trap.
Yes, we've secured them. We didn't really inspect them, but now that, you know what? Hold on a second. Charlotte will go to the side and cast Sending Dice real quick. Hey, the werewolf captors we have, don't try to remove any marks on them. But if you find a mark of Malar on them, study that shit. Tell me what you see or know, bug clarion about it. Okay, thanks, bye.
Real quick.
Cut to Laura being very sad about putting away the flensing kit.
Real quick question. Sending is a divination spell?
Yep, can't leave.
Is it? Fuck. All right, then she would go outside and cast it, and then go.
Okay.
Is it divination?
I'm pretty sure it is.
But yeah, if it is, then she'll just walk outside and send it, and then come back in.
I'm double checking because I'm pretty sure it is, but I might be wrong. It's
evocation.
evocation.
It's evocation, so no.
Okay.
You can still receive and get sendings within this room.
Good to know. Yeah, you would get a response relatively quickly back, going, "Yeah, we'll get to that when we can."
All right, they'll get back to us if they get any information on that.
I think the important thing here, Barnabas will say, is that it's becoming more and more clear that these folks who are using this magic that is being drawn in by the blight are going to be capable of greater and greater feats of magic. In this past full moon, they conjured a creature to almost completely eliminate a city of tens of thousands. And we know that their
Mirabar was attacked.
We know that their power will only increase exponentially before the next full moon. And yes, the city of Mirabar was attacked. Many died. Many were also saved.
And we do have some intelligence on their power.
Yes, we do. And Charlotte will reach into her pack and bring out her own spell book, and she flips it to a certain leather page. She turns it around. She says, "This is the ritual to infect people with vines." Because she identified it on Thunder's corpse. And she wrote it down. She knows the spell.
Is there a way we can engineer and modify it? Perhaps to reverse engineer it.
Vic is going to reach. May I?
Yes. Do you speak Dwarven? It's all written in Dwarven runes. I can translate.
Let me check because I can't remember if I don't think any
I'm gonna step away for just a sec, but keep going.
Nope, can't. No.
I can work on translating this into common.
Thank you.
A tiny hole will jump up through the map. And the tiny shape will hop off the table, transform into Pyre.
Beetle is still under the map, just living there.
Yes, and I would be very interested, as this Belak is a druid, yes? The outcast?
Yes.
Then this magic is most likely most attuned to what I channel.
Yes.
From there, I will happily contribute my understanding to the study.
As soon as Rob gets back, we should make a 3-way Arcana check.
Yeah.
As there are 4 Arcana experts in the room.
But yeah, Charlotte will begin sharing her notes, translating whatever parts of it into common for people, so that, I don't know, maybe we can all make a big group Arcana check to figure out this blight shit.
Sounds to me like we should make a giant group Arcana check to see if we can figure out this shit.
Echo is going to bless Victoire, or not bless, he is going to guidance Victoire on this. So you get to add a d4.
Cool.
Pyre has the spell slots to cast Enhance ability on folks.
How many folks?
I'm pulling it up now. I can upcast it to target multiple people.
I mean, I'd take advantage if you want to give it over.
So yeah, he can upcast it to cover everyone.
So who's all making the check? Victoire.
Oh, Victoire's
Charlotte,
making the check.
Victoire, Pyre, Calder, Charlotte.
Yes. Okay.
So 4. So I will
Do it.
Bring it to that level. He will cast Enhance Ability in order to cast, what is it? The
intelligence one, right?
The intelligence one. But I want to use its proper name. It is the Fox's Cunning.
Yeah, Fox is cunning. And I got guidance, you said?
Yeah, Echo put guidance on Victor, so add a D4.
We'll do the D4 first. Excellent. Good.
All right, let's get those dice going. Wow. Wow, Pyre.
Okay.
He is not formally educated. Are you kidding me?
No!
Double sevens.
Once again, you cannot like roll well to save your life. In non like critically important situations.
With advantage.
With advantage.
Roll a 9. With advantage, roll a 7.
So remind me, we do have a 22 and a 29. So what is it that you are all looking for with this check?
Or actually, that's a 30 from Vic plus the guidance.
Yeah,
that's true. So what are you looking for with this roll?
We are looking at the ritual to creates the vines, controls people with it. And so I guess what people were suggesting was that we are looking for a way to either magically counteract it or fuck with it in some way magically. Like some sort of weakness, something we can...
Or ideally a way to reverse it.
Or reverse it.
So I'm going to say... go ahead.
Oh, I was just thinking from Vic's... like childhood, having like the weirdness of the Feywild as where she grew up, and then the like mechanical scientific half of her mind. She's also looking to basically make an inoculation for it.
Yeah. Okay. So so we'll start with Charlotte.
30.
So we'll start with Charlotte.
Oh, give me 2 seconds.
So Charlotte, you think that you could probably come up with a ritual that would, depending on how advanced the case is, like burn away the vines without killing someone. It depends on how far it's gotten, right? Like Charlotte came face to face with Belak. You don't think that you would be able to like cure, quote unquote, Belak. He is too far gone. But I will say that you develop a ritual that will allow you to at least have a chance of removing the vine domination from someone that has it. I think that's totally fair with a 22.
Even if it is you have to hold them down, and it's a
it's a torturous process.
But it's survivable. Yeah,
but it's survivable
ritual,
which is
and
new.
I think that makes sense too for Charlotte, because she is an abjuration wizard. She knows about protection, and because she now understands how this ritual works better, she can warp her protective magic to keep the subject alive.
But
while
again,
they are extracting it.
We're talking about like if the roots are like visible and like Barnabas was in the Sunless Citadel, or like Thunder was, right? There were these vines wrapped around him that were kind of like controlling his muscles. You can deal with that. But like if somehow, I don't know, the blighted roots got into their circulatory system, if it got like into their internal parts, maybe you wouldn't be able to deal with that. But like someone who is being controlled, you can probably get out. Yeah. And this is important because you realize that one of the things, again, Charlotte, one of the things that can be done with this ritual is like theoretically they could do like an entangling roots on a large area and have all the people in that area like come under domination.
Okay. All right. So that's what Charlotte got. And I see Calder re-rolled, right?
Yeah, I forgot about his, he can spend a sorcery.
That's true.
Roll a skill check. So I just did that and got a 17 total this time.
So
21 total.
A 21 total.
Calder, I'm going to say because your take on magic is a little bit different, right? You're a little bit more instinctive.
And he also saw the first results. Like, he was there at the Citadel. He saw firsthand what happened to Barnabas and has that knowledge. And he also saw the laboratory where they did all the experiments. So he has a little bit more contextual knowledge.
I'm going to say that Calder is able to recognize sort of the threads of where this magic is coming from, and would probably be able to, I'm going to say that if someone is being actively like attacked by these vines in front of Calder, he would be able to essentially cast a counterspell. Like, you see what happened, but the problem is
I understand the mechanic.
Yeah.
I understand the mechanics. Now I know how to disrupt it. Counterspell. Yeah, counterspell works now.
Yes. So from here on out, you will be able to use counterspell, not just against a spell, but against somebody who is trying to take someone else over with these vines. And finally,
would I be able to use dispel magic to disrupt control even for like a round?
Yes, I will give you that as well. Now, Victoire with a 30.
Yes. The highest number I can make.
You understand. You understand the magic involved. This is not like magic. This is a machine. Yeah? This is a machine that is intended to make more of itself. And you realize that now, and you're like, wait, what would I even do with a machine that could make more of itself? We're talking about a scenario.
Grey Goose scenario.
We're talking about a scenario where if things are going the way you think they're going, theoretically, a plague could start at the next full moon that could not only engulf both armies that are currently fighting, but then could spread to the rest of the world. However, with a 30, I'm going to say that you are able to sort of figure out how to destroy the Gulthias tree for good. How to destroy it. And if you do, you know that all the magic that is coming in, because this blight is drawing in magic from all over the world, and it's drawing it to one central spot. And if you're able to disrupt the focus of that spot, if you're able to disrupt the lens by which all that magic is being focused on a single point, you could definitely disrupt it. You can't, even with a 30, take control of it. But you do know that, like, these folks are hanging on to this magical power by a thread. And you are well aware, if you can get within sight of the Gulthias tree, you can pull that magic from their control. You might not be able to control it yourself, but you can at least make it so that they can't control it anymore.
Knock the controller out of their hand.
That's exactly right.
So Vic is gonna sit back down, and she's just gonna like sit there in thought for like a moment, and then she's going to turn to Lou, and she's gonna go, Lou, I'm very sorry, and she's going to pull the back panel off of Lou, and she's going to reach down into his gears and his inner workings, and is going to be like, it's okay, I'll fix you later, and is going to pull out part of his engine, and is going to put it on the table, and is going to start like pulling it apart. It's like a little box, and she pulls out a small container about this big. It's a glass container. It's like about a pill. It's like a pill shaped, and she goes, "This," to the group, "is an arcane seed. This is a piece of magic, of technology, of nature, of extra nature. And this is essentially a battery. It is what powers Lou. I think I know what makes these whole thing goes together, and it's a seed very similar to this. And she puts it back into the box and like folds it up while she's talking. What I need, if possible, because I have at this current point in time, I am working in the forge, and I think what I can do is I can build something with Kretha's help, hopefully, because you're getting really good at this.
Thank you.
What I need is if you can get me either like a seed of this Gulthias tree or like part of the heart root, or even like, if you can get, I don't know, do you have any of the vines and shit, or did you burn that? Which you should have, but like, did you keep any?
I think I know what you're getting at, and there's another way.
I did bring a sample. It's not
excellent.
Very intact.
I think I know what you're getting at, Victoire, and there is another way. I spoke to a reliable source, and they told me that their power, their grip over the magic of this thing is barely present, and they are aware of how tenuous their grasp is. They have a round-the-clock team of shamans and their own acolytes to maintain their very scant focus. And if that is also disrupted, then the entire mechanism can fall apart.
Vic has now picked up Lou, and Lou is in her lap, and she's fixing him.
I'm going to say there's one more thing that Vic knows.
Yeah.
If Victoire, because Victoire has been told about the fruit of the Gulthias tree, and has been told that it has amazing powers, and that it sort of contains the magic of the Gulthias tree. And Victoire is pretty sure that if you can get a sample of the fruit of this new Gulthias tree, you're pretty sure you could make like a contagion.
I want to make a reverse plague of antibodies.
That would essentially, like, if you could introduce it to a spot, would populate along the entire stream of magic and destroy everything that is connected to it, with all of the consequences that come with that. But you get the idea that, like, you can make this poison that if you had the fruit of the current Gulthias tree, you could potentially destroy all of it in one go if you manage to introduce the toxin in the right place.
Echo speaks up after mentioning, like, the tree, a source, a seed. And he goes, Dream couldn't tell whether or not the tree had fruit on it. And the Gulthias tree in the bottom of the Sun, the Citadel, only made fruit every, 6 months?
I think even less than that. But yes, it was not very much.
So...
But this tree is larger.
It is, and it certainly grew a lot faster than the old one.
I also have a theory on that.
But
I don't think it's in one place. I think they are somehow able to move it. I'm not sure how, but mobility is one of the only ways I can think of them being able to hide something that massive.
It's not like trees have never been able to walk.
It's true. It could be as simple as they're animating it and letting it move.
Echo is kind of looking sideways at Barnabas a little bit, like trying to decide whether or not to say this next piece. And I think he catches Barnabas's eye and just kind of...
Look.
We
should not be holding anything back in this meeting. Okay? We are all going to put all of our cards on the table.
You
Yes,
absorbed the old Gulthias' last fruit. That's how you survived us removing the vines from you.
Oh, I remember, yes.
Is
You
that...
think he's still...
I mean, he's still alive. He still has the scars. Is there possibly any connection there?
Vic pulls out a giant fuck-all needle. I'm gonna need a blood sample.
And that's the needle you're gonna bring to me. You want a blood sample, and you brought out a needle that is thicker than my middle finger. Is that what I'm saying?
It's not that thick. She checked. This is the size that I use for me.
Yes, I did experience the control of the Gulthias tree. I don't like to think about those times. But, I mean, to be fair, it wasn't the first time I tried to kill you, Echo. I did manage to fight off the control of the Gulthias tree through the fruit. Yes. And if you need a blood sample, maybe use a slightly smaller needle. For God's sake, that's a scimitar. But yes, I will absolutely allow you to draw blood if you need to.
Charlotte will speak up and say, "Well, you are finding a smaller needle. Your Majesty, might I cast some magic on you and maybe check around for any lingering effects?"
He'll sort of hold his arms open.
Let me just double check that this isn't divination magic.
It might
fuck
be.
It is. Shit. Identify is divination. So she's like, we're going to have to go outside the room to do that. But
Go out the back door. There's a private room on the down the hall on the right.
So in X-Men, there was a very popular sort of story
Hold on the left and then take a right.
where a mutant plague went around and killed a lot of mutants, right? And then they gave the virus to Wolverine, who was able to heal through it and produce the antibodies necessary.
Yeah.
So with a sample of Barnabas's blood,
legacy virus.
yes, I'm gonna say that with a sample of Barnabas's blood, Victoire is definitely able to create like an antidote to the blight. So, like, again, it depends on if the blight has taken over the vital portions of someone's body, it might still be risky. But, like, I will say that with Barnabas's blood, Vic is able to create a full antidote to the blight, yes.
Charlotte is
Realistically,
also...
this will take time.
Yeah. Right now, doing the ritual of identify, Charlotte is trying to, because the spell allows you to learn whether any spells or magic are affecting the item and what they are, or the person that you are casting identify on. So she is trying to see if there is any lingering magical connection from Barnabas to the existing network of the blight that she tapped into when she identified the vines.
I'm going to give you... Now, this is a divination spell that you're casting in a no divination zone, right?
No, we went right outside.
Okay. Give
door.
me an Arcana check and take advantage because you're using some pretty powerful magic.
Okay. Advantage.
Oh,
Echo will guide her.
no, actually,
Nepotism.
Echo won't guide her, but she does get guidance.
Nepotism.
And you do remember you do get you also have Fox's cunning still.
Yes.
Okay.
Plus
Another 30.
So that's another 30.
Excellent. So remind me one more time of what you were looking for.
So with identify, she can tell if a spell or if magic are currently affecting the creature and what the effect is or what the spell is. And so with that, she's trying to figure out is there any connection still between Barnabas and the network of the blight energy that she knows exists. So
yes and no. The network is no longer affecting his ability to make his own decisions. It's no longer like controlling him. But yes, there is a tendril of connection between him and the rest of the spell. There is a magical sort of resonance going off towards where the Gulthias tree is.
He is still connected in some way, but it is not the overt connection that it used to be.
Correct.
Echo will tell him as such. And in this private room where they went to go do the ritual, Charlotte will tell him that in private first before going back into the room and telling everyone else.
Do you think that I'm compromised?
No, this isn't the same as what was controlling the dragon or anything like that, but you are still, it's almost like an echo of sorts. Like there was once a very thick rope holding you attached to this, and almost all of it has frayed away, but there is still a tether.
I very clearly remember drawing my axe on those that were my friends that helped me. I remember not being able to do anything about it. I remember being a passenger in my own mind. If there is even a chance that might happen again, I need to know, because a lot of people are putting their trust in me. A lot of people are putting their faith in me. And if there is a chance, if there's even a chance that I might be turned against them, maybe I should step back.
Old friend. The time to take advantage of such a critical military advantage has passed. If they could, they would. And we wouldn't be having this conversation. We can at least assume that they are ignorant of your connection. If not you being beyond their grasp with a permanent ear to the keyhole.
It is honestly what I would describe it as is a magical scar. It's just a part of the weave that is connected to you now in a way that is not active.
If I may. It is like when a river is channeled. A riverbed can remain even long after the water has moved in other directions. It's dammed, it's closed off. The potential of that connection remains. The scar upon the land is still present, even centuries after it had been dug. And while it will never flow water correctly that same way again, that path remains. And so a stream can occasionally make its way down. You can think of it as you are hearing whispers, but they're not intending for you to hear them. Because
Do you hear whispers? Have you experienced anything since being cured that was like being under the control?
Impressions, instincts.
I mean, I've had dreams. But I thought that they were just a response to what happened. I thought that the trauma of being turned against my friends was enough. I mean, that would be enough to give anyone nightmares. But I have had nightmares.
Did you alter any military positionings after your nightmare?
No, I don't believe I did.
Maybe you should.
This
If you are receiving impressions that could be related militarily, you are probably seeing plans or at least instructions.
You're saying perhaps I could be a source of information on our foe?
It could be. What you're describing is not prophecy, but if you are receiving any information, now that you are aware of it, perhaps that dream could be rendered lucid. Perhaps you can search it, seek it, find your own path toward it.
What does Barnabas's face look like as he is taking all of this in?
He is very, very like 1,000-yard stare, kind of introspective at the moment.
Is this in the back room or in the public area?
I think once Barnabas was like, nah, let's talk about this, they went back in. And that's when Calder started talking. Yeah.
Sorry.
I missed that part. Sorry.
All good.
No, I didn't state it out loud, but yeah. She checked in with Barnabas first, and then they went back and talked about it. So yeah.
Barnabas is not is not hiding any of this from anyone. Like, at no point is he trying to be cagey at this time.
There are experts we could consult on such things. We have a month. We have time. We have the ability to travel great distances very quickly.
I worry.
Echo.
I worry. I worry because I don't know what is the end game. What is the end result? What is Belak?
Oh,
What is he trying to accomplish here?
I might have a bit of insight on that, Echo says.
Vic is gonna just look across the table and go, extinction.
I think that might be the means, but not the end.
I think it might be the end.
And Echo pulls out the letter from Vesper. It's another druid of the Emerald Enclave, Vesper, who knew Belak back when he was a part of the Enclave. He was here, he was in Mirabar, he fought him. Died defending Mirabar. But he left this, and in this, he says that he believes Belak's end goal is to betray Mogenthall, to betray Grumsh, this alliance he's made with the orcs, and use all of the power, not to summon another Tarask or level cities, but to attain godhood.
If extinction is his goal, then that would be a step in the process. Charlotte, you said that he told you why he did all of this, why he's doing all of this. Did you?
Charlotte kind of makes it so he said a lot of bullshit. He did. Again, cards all on the table. We talked a little bit when he found me after I killed Thunder. We talked a little bit, and he tried to give me the pitch. You know, he was like, "Hey, you're a mage. I'm a mage. I'm just trying to save the world on like magic moving through the universe eons level scale." He talked about the last spell plague. He talked about how the world goes through cycles of absorbing too much magic and then breaking apart, but that's not what sponges do. I don't think this idiot has ever been to the seaside. He was saying a lot of boastful things of how his cause was right and he was doing the right thing in the long run. You know, the means, the ends justifying the means, but a lot of it was just bullshit. So I think I don't think he was particularly trying to be deceptive either. I think he just might unfortunately believe his own hype.
So you think that
maybe he does actually, I think he thinks he's doing the right thing. But I don't know if he's factored, I think he's weighing the scales of everything living on the planet and deciding he gets to decide where they get spent.
So you think that
That's what I got.
You think that because his ideas sound mad, you think that he believes them because many people have used ideologies and prophecies to control others, and they have done so intentionally and deceptively. Do you believe that Belak is just manipulating events to try to get power for himself, or do you believe that he really believes that he's saving the world?
I think he believes he's doing the right thing, and I think he might need to believe that because he wasn't undead when you guys saw him last, right?
No.
He's undead now. He is fully vined up. He looked.
I did kill him then.
It was just this weird, like he had this super powerful magic on him, but when I fucking tackled him, he felt like skin and bone. He's not this, he didn't feel the same, like,
is he being manipulated?
Physical presence.
Is he being manipulated like I was manipulated?
No, I think he is sampling his own wares. I think he is so far down on this idea that this is the only way to go to save things that he has dipped into that and is now a part of it.
And whether it be sunk cost fallacy or the external manipulations of a magic that wants to reproduce, or Moloch's will being tearing into his mind, he is too invested now.
He is definitely too invested now, and I think it is, yes, it is that spiral of he has done all of these terrible things to other people and himself, and so he must continue. That was the impression that I got. And do we think there would be any benefit to me seemingly taking him up on his offer?
There is no benefit to such a thing.
And I'm going to say
I
that
don't
at
see a
this
benefit there.
at this time, a new voice rises in the room. A new voice that nobody here has heard, at least for quite some time. M,
Yeah.
would you be so kind as to enter the scene?
I am doing my best. Give me a second. I don't have pictures for this character because it's been a while.
So as you're discussing
How do I
this,
spell this?
Whoever it is, we don't hear them until they're physically in the room.
Oh, let's actually look at it from a different direction. They take the hat that they were wearing off and put it to the side on the table and then take a seat.
and suddenly you can see them.
And then they fix their shit. This is a person who's average-ish height. They are relatively darker in skin tone, long-ish dark hair. They are in what looks like I realized after the fact that it's like fucking Moon Knight armor.
Like Egyptian style, kind of.
Yeah. It has like the wrappings and stuff, like layered on top of itself. He doesn't wear like a gorget, and instead there is this ridiculously, like, I want to say 1.5 to 2 inch thick band of burned flesh that goes like all the way around his neck. And that same like thick band of burned flesh around the wrists as well as he settles down. His right eye has a slice down through it, like on the face. And the eye itself is a different color from his left eye. Jeff, you recognize this as Del, your brother?
All color vanishes from Calder's face.
So this guy just was sitting at a chair, took off a hat.
No, was
longer
standing in the
invisible.
corner. Was standing in the corner so nobody would sit on him awkwardly while he was invisible.
But has just
Calder
taken
is
off
just
a
like-
hat and become
He is
visible.
stunned
Yes.
to silence. He's like,
Yes. So
Does he say anything?
Del sits down and goes, so
Barnabas's axe is out.
I was gonna say Echo is like fucking like 2 inches from punching this guy.
Del is going to is going to like hands open on the table. He's wearing armor, but he doesn't have any weapons on him. And is going to go, I came here to help. I'm so sorry. The door was open.
no.
Yeah.
Calder is like actually crying. He's like, he gets up and runs around the table and
Del will
wraps
stand
his
up for
ar-
this. Like,
He will
like Del
wrap
does
his
not
arms
gonna-
around Del and just squeeze.
And Charlotte, hearing that, goes, "Wait, Del?"
Calder, like, his arms wrap around you, and you can feel that there's like definitely muscle, obviously, like he's wearing armor, but there's muscle there that is like corded, and like it's like, this is not a Chewy person.
God's damn it. Like grabbing him by the shoulder, like, you're here.
It took a while. There was some problems, and he's gonna like hold you and go, you got so big.
You've got, like, taps the shoulders. Are you smuggling cantaloupes? What's
No, that's armor.
okay? You're a lot stronger than I remember.
Thank you. It came with the jobs I was doing.
I have so much to tell you. But he'll like suddenly realize. Oh shit.
Sorry.
Everyone, so sorry.
This is a war meeting. One of the things that like kind of picks up for you, Calder, is the fact that his accent has fully changed.
All right. If you, I'm gonna crack out a brand new spell because I have it. I'm gonna crack out True Sight.
Okay.
Just real quick.
Yeah. Just scan.
Okay.
Wait,
is that a divination spell?
I believe it is.
True Sight is definitely a divination spell. I'm afraid it will not work within the confines of this room.
Got him. Okay, so like,
wait, Del Cheval? Charlotte asks.
Delamain Cheval.
Actually, I want to be clear. Del uses his mother's maiden name, but I don't remember it.
Yes, but Charlotte, who knows the other noble houses, would hear that name and be like, wait a second, is this another fucking Cheval?
Unfortunately. He's looking that up. Del, insert last name here when it comes to you.
Lepresque.
So
Lepresque.
Barnabas and Sven will look to Calder and say, Barnabas will say, is this someone you vouch for? Because I don't like it when random people suddenly show up in the middle of my war council.
Echo's still like right next to him with his
I did not invite them.
Thank you.
I haven't seen them since I was 5.
It was very.
Then how are you sure this is who you think they are?
A prudent precaution.
Del is going to like kneel, and present his wrists and the back of his head to the king.
Del, I have a very important question that you are the only one that should answer. What was it that I broke that got Anton so angry at me the night you saved my life?
You didn't break it. I did.
But what was it?
Okay. I can't
literally make it up. I don't care.
Like from an M point of thing, I don't have brain here.
Mother's mirror.
Yeah. All right. It was Mother's mirror. The silver one with the purple enamel.
I'll turn about this. There's no way anyone else could know that.
If you trust them, then I trust them.
Yeah,
the only people who were there were myself, Anton, and Del.
Del is still in this, like, you know, if you're gonna fucking murk me, like, I'm not fighting it.
I will take full responsibility for it.
And Barnabas will hold out his hand in a please rise sort of gesture.
Echo's got a real quick right behind him go, Zone of Truth.
Is Zone of Truth a divination
Is that spell? A divination spell?
It's evocation, guys.
Oh, nice.
Nice. Okay. You may choose to fail the save, but if you But if you do fail, if you do succeed the save, the caster is aware that you've succeeded.
I'm not even gonna roll for it. I'll take the fail. The
State
there.
your name.
My name is Delmain. I forgot my last name already because doesn't have a Lepresque.
Yeah, I have the notes open. So.
I am working off of the text, and it's saying Love Press. So
I don't know why it is saying that.
But Dale successfully says who he is under the Zone of Truth.
Yeah. My name is Delmain Lepresque. I am known as the Watcher. Ghost is over there like, I am the ghost, besties.
And what brings
you here to help us?
What brings you to our meeting?
Those of my party, and I have been tasked with specific roles when it comes to the large-scale movement of magical energies. We have reasons to believe that there is at least one being who is attempting to ascend to godhood. Could be more. We're not entirely sure on that matter. And I think from what you said, we have a good idea of what that person is. But also there is an extraplanar being who has manifested to the north that has been under scrutiny for some time.
I saw a Nalfashni at the battle. A higher demon.
Joe just like pulls out a little mini scroll, writes something down, snaps it, and it vanishes out of existence. For the record, that was me sending a message. I understand that it could be a little weird. That is something we didn't know. Thank you. No, we're talking about the witch, Baba Yaga.
Baba Saga.
Wait, who?
It's a folk tale.
That's not a folk tale.
No, it's not.
There's legends about. We did a play featuring Baba Yaga in a hut at the circus one time, but
yeah,
we were told stories growing up about Baba Saga,
and the dwarves know very well,
and she had 100 other names.
That she is not simply a tale. She is something else entirely. Are you saying that the Witch of Witches is involved in this?
I'm not saying that she is involved in this. And he gestures at the map and the scribbles on it. But we have been tracking her movements for some time, between the planes, between the multiverses. And she always tends to appear usually as, and he looks at Echo as, by plays, and he looks at another person by stories and by legends, that she is a trickster who doesn't like doing her own dirty work. The likelihood that she is setting up as a preparation to take the first hit of the spell that turns somebody immortal, or turns them into a god, or takes the full draft of the potion that finishes everything, just to be able to be that one who did it, is very high.
Do you believe she set these events into motion?
I don't believe she set them into motion. I believe she watched it, waited, and is now intending to reap the benefits of waiting. but I'm not sure. That is my theory, and I don't know half of the stuff that they were talking about, so I'm easily not the smartest person in the room.
We really cannot afford having a third front open on this war.
On the other hand, I do have a general idea of where her hut was last seen, and I know how to track it.
The Baba
He's
Yaga
still
would
under the
not,
spell. He's talking truth.
the Baba Yaga would not approach a situation like this without having some sort of failsafe. She must have some way of controlling or understanding the situation that maybe we do not have.
And she can be bargained with. She can be bargained with.
Dwarven
I like that in a
tales.
person.
Dwarven tales are very clear that bad things happen to those that deal with the Baba Yaga.
Calder grits his teeth.
Isn't there also a tale or two about someone who does barter with her and gets away with it?
Yes, but Tasha is not particularly well received these days because she had some interesting ideas about the future of sapient races.
Your Majesty, do you have opinions on magical academia?
No, but I do know that there are those among my kind, and he'll look to Sven, that are aware of at least one who was the daughter or the trainee or the apprentice of Baba Yaga. And Tasha the Black is a person who is extraordinarily dangerous. Someone who has only been in Baba Yaga's orbit, and yet is one of the most powerful beings on our world. This is terrible news.
It
Yes.
might be terrible news, but I technically have an appointment.
That sounds like better news.
Not really. It's
With-
part of the job.
With Baba Yaga.
With
Like,
the
it's not a scheduled appointment. I have a duty.
If
And at this point he like looks Calder straight in the face, cracks a smile because he knows what they're both thinking for like just a half of a second before it goes
There is
away.
a fraction of a second in that exchange between brothers where it's like,
He said
yes,
duty.
I thought it too.
That I have to go to that. I have to follow up. So I am
And you're-
heading in that direction anyways.
And you want help.
I would appreciate backup.
I'll
I'll go-
insist upon it.
I'll be happy to go with you.
And
I will
if you have
too.
your own means, then and reasons, I won't ask you to, backpack on my duty. That's my problems and my burden to bear, but I'm willing to help with yours.
Well, it sounds like you have a theory, Charlotte says, that Baba Yaga has in her possession a way to wrest control away from Belak.
I mean,
That
even if it's
sounds
just being in the right spot at the right time.
Still, if
There's-
it's knowledge or a tool,
Hmm.
we could use that.
There's also another possibility. Baba Yaga might be able to is an unmatched master of the arcane. She would be able to offer insights into many problems that we've been facing lately, like Clarion.
This is how it starts. This is always how it starts. Calder,
And yet that
do not
Barnabas.
fall into the same trap that so many have fallen into over the ages. They
Barnabas.
all come to her for knowledge, and they all leave with their lives in ruins.
Barnabas.
I think as Barnabas goes to say, they all leave. He can't get it out because he's under a truth spell. And there are legends of people getting away with it.
And he knows that.
I'm going to
Barnabas.
say that he says it anyway.
Your Highness.
He forces it out because it's a thing that he believes, even if the evidence has come to him that maybe it's not true. But anyway, Jeff.
So it's Your Highness, that regardless of the danger, that does not diminish our need. Either we need to remove her from consideration so we don't have to fight a war on the third front, especially a magical front. Or we need, and she has information she has information or access to information that we require, and she has expertise and knowledge that we would absolutely benefit from. All three of these necessitate going to her.
Besides, now that we know she's in the neighborhood, it would be rude not to visit, and you don't want to be rude to a witch.
That's a bit further than the neighborhood, but yes, I understand what you were saying. Sorry.
When I learned that Malar was involved in this fiasco, I was concerned. When I learned that Grumsh has possibly roused himself to be part of this fiasco, I was upset. But only now am I truly scared. Baba Yaga is someone that my great-great-great-grandfather would not trifle with. And he was a man that stood up and punched Grumsh in his other eye before he was Grumsh the One Eye. This is an entirely new level. This is terrifying. We should not approach the Baba Yaga casually. We need to understand that this being is a threat to all life, just as Belak is, except more competent.
Except that she is, that as much as I appreciate the magnitude of her power, that is not, nor has it ever been, her motivation. Whatever her game is, we know she wants the game to continue. We know this because we all have heard those stories, and she, as dangerous as she is not an existential threat to the world because she lives there.
No,
she
not
plays
an
her own
existential,
game.
but an existential threat to us, perhaps.
Yes, absolutely. But we are at present in her sights anyway. We didn't choose to have this fight, but this fight has come to us. We have very few options, none of them good. But
well, I mean, I think we could go get a bunch of druids added to our numbers if I make a quick trip to Waterdeep, Echo says.
That could help.
The Lord's Alliance is more likely to throw in support behind you now that the initial campaign proves successful.
Kreetha's going to go ahead and speak up as well. And she's going to say, I think that perhaps speaking with this Baba Yaga would be more advantageous than allowing her to act in the background without our interference. If she is allowed to do what she wishes, we have no say. We may be able to bargain. Perhaps. She looks a little bit unsure of herself.
And if we end up picking a fight, we'll at least know where our position is.
It's not really fair to complain about the outcome if you didn't vote. So
I think Echo is kind of backing out of the conversation and stepping slightly out of the room to go cast a divination spell real quick. Like, that's what he's doing while this is going on.
I don't think we should compel a mission, but I do think a volunteer skirmish would be wise.
Delmain, was it?
Yes.
I don't know who you are or where you came from, but Calder vouches for you, and that's good enough for me.
I can also offer one piece of insight that might inform your opinion.
Go on.
You are very well aware of my father's reputation.
Oh, I am.
He has been sending assassins to kill Delamain every year since he left.
I think they have a yearly reunion at this point in time. I've been off plane for a while.
Oh yeah, I imagine it's an entire thing. Father is furious every year.
It's funny though.
Then
But regardless,
that is a reason to trust your words. But it sounds like you have knowledge beyond anything any of us could possibly.
The enemy of my ally of political convenience is my friend.
It sounds like you have knowledge that is beyond the ken of any of us. And that makes me nervous. Perhaps you and I should have a conversation in private at some time.
I mean, it is thanks to Del that we even know Baba Yaga's here.
And Baba Yaga is in play.
Assuming, and this is very important, assuming that Delmain, and with no offense meant to you or your family name, this is assuming that Delmain is not in some way an agent of the Witch of Witches himself.
Did Echo leave already?
Yeah, although the spell doesn't require concentration, the zone of truth is just in that zone for 10 minutes.
I do not work with or for the Witch of Witches, to use your words.
I believe that you believe that.
But if we're going to play do you believe if you are an agent or not, then we're going to be here all week. And frankly, Your Highness, you're not the one to point fingers at the idea of being compromised by an external force.
I suppose you're right about that.
Del is going to look Barnabas in the face and is going to go, "It is against my oath."
Ooh, that sounds like a charisma plus, like, I don't know, persuasion check?
Okay. Oh, I'm super great at that, guys.
We'll see.
Does he have advantage for still being in the zone of truth?
I'm going to say yes, and also it's not a super high DC because so many people are vouching for you.
Y'all.
I will offer that. I am vouching for my brother's character. I am offering that as a help action.
Yeah.
One more.
Got a 15.
That was dropped to 9. Okay, so you got a 15. So he's going to nod and say, I suppose at this time, and this is not the first time I've said this, even in the last few weeks, I suppose it's important to remember that we must accept help from any quarter that it's given. If you're here to help, then I thank you for it. But
welcome, friend Delmain, screams Pyre from the corner.
Still just eating that ham hock.
He's finishing it by now, but yeah, he's been watching everything with interest.
I imagine that like Del and Ghost have like food between them, and they're both like popcorn bucketing that shit.
Pyre and Ghost, yeah.
Yeah, Pyre
and Ghost.
I imagine Pyre like grabbing like a handful of a charcuterie board like popcorn.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. Absolutely.
So, out in the corridor, probably next to wherever Kevin Bonewolf is standing, Echo's gonna take out 25 different coins and cast them all out as he casts augury about whether or not they should try to contact Baba Yaga.
I believe
and the
DM, should we do that?
The outcomes of augury.
Yes, no, it's like it's good,
it's
bad, or neutral.
Is wheel and woe, right?
Woe. It could be wheel, it could be woe, it could be wheel and woe, or it could be nothing.
I'm going to say that as you're casting augury about the should we contact Baba Yaga question, you get both wheel and woe in equal but extreme amounts. Like, yes,
yeah, so
this can happen, this can help.
25 coins.
But also, So
Exactly
no,
half
let's
over there,
be clear. Hold on,
half
whoa,
over
hold
there,
on.
and
Back
there's
up.
a corner.
Let's be clear. So you're throwing out 25 coins. Every
Heads for it's a
No,
good idea.
no.
Tails for it's a bad idea.
every single one of them lands on edge.
Oh no!
Of the
They're all just,
25
stuck in the
coins,
ground.
of the 25 coins, every single one of them lands on edge. So you get the very, very powerful idea that yes, this is a very good idea. Yes, this is a very bad idea.
Matthew over in the corner going, "Holy shit!"
How'd you do that?
Matthew also in the corner. Dude, what is this? Pointing at a big fuck all sword that's just like resting near the coat hooks.
Like a
Oh,
fucking
where
buster
Dell
sword.
left is. All right. Guess we're dealing with more than one trickster, he says to no one in particular, and leaves the coins where they are and goes back in.
Matthew over in the corner. What?
All right. Anyway, so to summarize, we have the Witch of Witches that needs to be contacted. We have a tree to locate, movements to track. We have a month to prep for.
I need to get a sample from His Majesty.
Yeah, we can do that. I'm talking broad missions that we need to accomplish, but
okay.
that is still important. Thank you very much.
Go to Waterdeep for the druids, Echo says as he comes back in.
We want to check out the rest of the Emerald Enclave for the druids and browbeat them. And Pyre laughs and goes, "Ah, yes, that." And so, and there are a couple of other assignments that should happen soon. But
Yeah.
we'll talk about that. We don't need to talk about that one later. You know?
I was just going to ask who's already received an invitation to Meepo's wedding.
Yeah, there is that. Your Highness, have you received your wedding yet?
Of
Your
course
wedding
I have.
Yet? Are you going to be attending?
Of course I will. Meepo has
That
been
makes me-
a material part of our success here. We would not be where we are if Meepo was not here. I will absolutely be attending his wedding, of course.
And committing that to memory for future reproductions via minor illusion for sound. Just filing that one away.
Filing that one away.
And with that, friends, I know it's a
So,
little
yeah,
bit
we have-
early, but
Yeah, we're just giving I'm just doing the exposition. Like, these are objectives that we have to.
I
meet.
feel like we've got a pretty good idea of what
The
we're
camera
doing.
pans out, the sound pans down.
We know that Victoire could theoretically, with a blood sample, potentially develop a contagion that could potentially disrupt the magic. You know that the Baba Yaga probably has some sort of means of protecting herself from this magic and potentially diverting it into herself, and
commandeering it.
And you know that Belak himself is looking to utilize this energy in some kind of selfish way, either to elevate himself to godhood or potentially to make slaves out of everyone in the general vicinity.
And he's under the influence of Moloch, who probably wants to use the event to increase his divinity station. Grumsh might want all the power so that he can make his realized dream of an orc world a reality.
So there are many, many powerful personalities at play here, all with their own motivations, all with their own end games, all with their own plans and strategies and tactics. And with that,
I think
go ahead, Gail.
There's one thing I really want to do because I want to be on camera because it's important.
Yeah.
Calder will make a point to follow Domain out of the room and say, "I need to talk to you now."
Okay.
And once they are in private, he will. I love you, and I missed you, and I have learned something very important. I know why your mother died. I know what happened to her. I know why, and I can tell you.
Calder, no.
That's all I needed to know.
I already know.
How?
And Dell is going to pull his eye out.
Mhm.
Sorry, I'm doing it, so I can. Ha and it's gonna just like rub the empty socket and like wipe it off. It's a fake eye. Just I want to be clear, it's a fake eye.
It's a fake eye. Okay.
Yeah, it's a fake eye.
A lot less juicy and bloody than I was imagining. Okay, cool.
Absolutely, yeah.
Jeff has a thing for eyes, so no real trauma to eyes, please.
No. He's gonna put it back in, and he's gonna go. Caller's gonna notice that the it like opens and like it adjusts, like he can still see through it.
Fascinating.
I took vows, and I gained a lot of knowledge through those vows. I'm more concerned that you know it.
I spoke to my mother, and she told me why I was made and how.
He's
And
gonna
and I am going to kill Father.
that I agree with.
I won't require your presence, but if you want to help, I understand.
A tears start running down his like the cheek with his fake eye.
Mhm.
And like he's like swearing just a little bit under his breath, and he's just gonna look up at you and he's gonna go, please tell me you didn't make a deal with that bitch.
I only made a promise to kill him. Nothing more. He broke his pact. We have a new baby brother. Innocent that he tried to have killed.
Dell is going to just punch a wall. And I'd say that's where we end.
Yeah.
That sounds like a great place
Real
to end. But what do you got, Gail?
As we are zooming out from that, back in the meeting room, maybe as Barnabas is reaching for an ale or some sort of
and Vic
drink,
is like shoving a needle in him.
Echo is going to just say, while we're throwing ideas out here, what if we tried to warn Mogenthall? And I think there's a
Okay, we're definitely ending the session here. For God's sake.
Pyre steps away from the meeting room and sends a sending to his own draconic patron.
Stop trying to introduce more twists in an already very twist-filled session. My friends, thank you for being here.
The last shot is just Ghost, but he's like fully unconscious and Beetle is sitting on his head.